reason. That he might have something up his sleeve. He knows, or maybe he's expecting GH maybe to go for expect a sculptor, but with this Bonbon could catch him off guard. So let's see how this early chase would happen. And now going straight towards Capcun is Dark. Now Capcun getting that heartbeat already, as well as Hatari. So the Capcun Hatari combo could be happening. So let's see how this first chase goes.
Yes, right place at the right time. Now, if ever GH does decide to go for supporting each other, well, so far doesn't look like that's solidly the case just yet. We do see triple progress on Cypher so far. It's going to be a lot riding on Captain Ku to make sure that he gets this high optimal. And look, there you have it, folks.
And as you mentioned, the support is already coming. Entomologist with the bees to just give a Capcun a safe passage, and we see Hatari in the area, so that's something Dark has to worry about. He did bring Blink, so again, if a stun does happen, it will buy some time. Skyfall abandoning the Cypher there, giving room for Capcun to be able to just utilize this area. We see that Capcun making his way towards the window, towards Graveyard, and now Dark really lighting up the floor. So far, so good on the side of Capcun, and we see that the vaulting speed of the Honey from the Entomologist gave Capcun a little bit of that speed boost to vault that, and now making his rounds here at the Graveyard. Capcun doing a great job avoiding and also building an Owl. More than half, he might have to eat a hit for him to transition. He eats that one hit, but he can still survive 2 more chip shots. 1 more chip shot.
Good. Great sidesteps that we're seeing here from Capcun so far, and I think this is something that Dark will really have to push for. In all fairness, so long as he could try to exhaust a lot of the resources from these survivors as much as possible.
The forward with the stun. Did you see that, Articuno? Oh my! And look at that. He lost sight. He lost sight of where Capcun went.
Oh, that is going to be tricky. If ever he does decide to commit to Atari, though, the consolation is that he has that fourth of a hit so far. So it is somewhat doable to transition over to Hatari, but at what cost? That was already a good number of seconds that he committed towards Captain. The cherry on top would have been able to have taken down that Seer, but now, at this point in time, with the spread of progress that we're seeing on the Cypher so far, Dark really needs to pick up the pace to make up for lost grounds.
Yeah, that's the thing. Hatari still has a football to utilize, going down to these pallets, and the blink hit will come in, so Dark finally downing his first target. Looking at the Cypher progress, yes, it's still 5 Cyphers remaining, but we see like a synchronized Cypher pop probably going to happen in two Cyphers, but now that's 1 less forward to worry about. We do see that the Seer has wanted orders, so Dark does have visuals on the map here and sees who he's going to probably go after next, trying to just drop these bombs here. Now it is Skyfall, the mercenary that will be going for the rescue. Now this is where Bonbon can shine. He is great at defending the shared survivor, and now excellent stuff hitting the mercenary, so depleting more of the resources here. So now it's going to be pretty hard for them to go for this rescue, but I have a feeling that they're communicating, they're constantly trying to weigh out their options here, because they might either go for a 99% rescue, or they're just going to sacrifice that forward.
Yeah, cause and effect right here. Good thing about positioning, it's a pro and a con if you think about it. Positioning for GH right now across the map is that they don't have to worry about Dark pushing for any pressure on the Cyphers that they're working on because of the far distance that they're at. The con to all of this is there's nobody within the immediate vicinity that could go for a hard save onto Atari. So I think at this point in time, we do see Skyfall kind of lingering in the vicinity to maybe attempt to go for a save. But I think with the number of seconds that were expended, it's just a good done deal. They will have to lose out on Hatari. 3 survivors will remain in which case, but still a good foundation that we're seeing as far as decoding. Now, let's go ahead and see who Dark will end up chasing out next, because it does seem that he's slowly inching onto Little Boy.
Yeah, we see that Skyfall was there, and the survivors were there probably just to give tinnitus and just let's keep Dark here, because we know that the Cypher, the Cypher rush can't happen if he's roaming around throwing bombs. But now, do note that he did change his trait. It's already up to teleport. So now we see that 2 Cyphers are already being worked on, and Dark realizing one of them is at the center, chasing out Skyfall. They are rotating, and GH known for having a lot of backup options just in case. Now we see that Dark utilizing the teleport, probably going to the center, and now Skyfall is in the immediate the line of sight, has to use the elbow pad to just gain more distance away from that Cypher. But you see that the other Cypher is moving, so The one in the center is close to like past 70%, while the other one is being worked on. So they are positioning, constantly rotating. Skyfall just trailing him to risk anything. I mean, the mercenary could go.
And if anything, BL could be the one coming off with the 3-1. We've seen how well BL was able to consistently go for 2-2s yesterday. Shows interesting improvement considering those Mad Penguins that they were facing. Let's see this time though whether or not they could prove to be consistent going up against GH a second time around as we head into the second half of round 1, folks.
Yeah, it seems like he's heading towards Shadow, and Shadow being, you know, the Priestess here can be a slippery target. Wants to go for that mechanic early on, but Shadow with still 2 of these Holy Keys already heading towards the corner house or the Geisha house. And we're seeing that Shadow utilizing, you know, just the house and the structure to his advantage, because this part is pretty isolated. He's gonna have to, Godjay will have to try, will he go for the commit here? He is gonna go through these Holy Keys, and we are seeing the routes being run by Shadow here. So excellent stuff. The mechanic is out and about decoding, so Shadow might have to eat a hit soon, but still, this is great stuff on the side of BL, because again, they're containing the Hunter in just this isolated part of the map.
Yes, and Chase is on, in which case...
Wow!
No dilly-dallying whatsoever.
What a blink by Godjay. Again, excellently called it out. You saw that Shadow was waiting behind that pallet. And Godjay, you know, he did make that one loop. Now he has presence. He can use that chisel to see who's gonna go for the save. And Quan Lee in the in that vicinity of that chisel. So forced to just be careful of touching that Cypher just because he does not want to get chip damage. So now question is who's gonna go for that save? It seems like MX is already on the case. He will be loading up that cricket bat. Let's see if he's gonna get it. Again, yeah, just the statue hits. Wow, excellent stuff, but he does get the save. Can he get the support?
Speaking of support, in which case MX timing, but it looks like both survivors from BL will be going separate routes, and nice timing coming from Godjay just as he falls off, and this will actually give him enough time to try to dissuade this batter as well. Now Shadow going up to the second story will try to establish a little bit of distance just to buy those few extra seconds it will take Godjay to take him back to this chair. Huge consolation for BL though, since the rescue was...
Wait for it. Hang on, Quan Lee in the area, but we are seeing that, you know what, again, he's going to eat that hit. Godjay playing a conservative here, but we see 2 of the main, sort of rescuers that can. Quan Lee, look, he's turning around. He's going to go for the stun. Excellent stuff. Gets the rescue off of Shadow. And now this stun is going to give him some time. Drops the pallet here. Tide is still in effect. Let's see if he's going to go for a support stun. Quan Lee once again. But allowing Shadow, but again, Shadow trying to transition. He's gonna have to be very careful. This Sculptor is fully fed. Tried to go back, but Godjay again delaying it just a bit. He was caught on the way back. He wanted to try to go for the back and forth, but Godjay being very patient, reaping the rewards of his patience here. 4 ciphers still remain on the side of BL.
Yes, 3 strike. Shadow is out of the game, and in all fairness, BL maximized the time that Godjay was preoccupied on Shadow. However, here's the thing. Chase is on right now for MX, but MX trying to line up, but Godjay keeping the distance, not wanting to succumb, but there you have it. Just a little bit of a hit right there, but MX trying to establish distance, but not quite working out. Godjay just managing to land that hit perfectly, and that's going to be the second survivor from BL that will be brought to a rocket chair.
We are seeing that the forward is already about to pop a Cypher, so probably going to go for the second save, but no tide turner will be in effect. We do see that we see Godjay doing a little bit of cleanup there on the cricket balls there. Now we see, oh my god, no, abnormal switches. Again, switching to abnormal this early is a sign of confidence. Godjay is snowballing on his pressure here. Quan Lee now has timed his rescue properly here. Does have half a football just left. And MX does have the one cricket bat to use. Now gets the save here. This rebound kite has to matter. Goes for the stun again, allowing MX to create some distance here. Godjay now looking at Quan Lee. Seems like he's going to be changing targets. Quan Lee now has a little bit of football to use, but for what? Oh my god, excellent statue strike there from Godjay. Has his second survivor on rocket chair, but 2 ciphers still remain. We do see that both of them do have some decent progress in it. 60%, 41%. So it's still up in the air. BL wants to push for that tie. Hopefully that 3-man escape, but tie seems to be doable.
Yes, love thought press coming in from GodJ, in which case, though you would want to maybe continue to commit on to MX at the same time, the opportunity to take down Kwanli, who was already at 3/4 of damage, was just too good an opportunity for GodJ to let up. But nice timing right there. Just as GodJ was turned away, MX was able to go for a sneaky rescue onto Kwanli. But GodJ knows what the priority is, wants to try to slow down BL from working on these ciphers, and it will be a turn onto Run, knowing very well that GodJ wouldn't want BL any further opportunity to try to counter what GodJ is trying to get rid of, which is
you gotta admire BL. Like they are going for rescue. They are going for heals. Now Run is the one that'll take her time on the rocket share, while we see that the wrestlers or the stunners are trying to heal up, manage their resources. 2 ciphers is still the name of the game here for the survivors to push for that end game. Now we see both batter and forward are all healed up. They do have a little bit of resources yet, but what matters is they can go for the rescue. So again, just prioritizing, just separating and just moving GodJ away from that cipher. But the abnormal is just going to make it a little more harder. Thank God it wasn't the 70% cipher. We do see that MX did have to eat that hit. Now double hit. Now we see both of them trying to scramble it out of there. GodJ closing it on Run, and Run trying to hide behind these pallets, and GodJ making it real hard, downing Run once again. MX is in the area, and we see that GodJ prioritizing, now chasing him, just to go for the hit. But man, GodJ again with the dodges and sidesteps.
Yes, it looks like GodJ will just gadly be bringing Run over to a rocket chair. That could easily be 2 survivors that GodJ can take into account of securing, but big question though, is GodJ gonna go for it, or is GodJ just gonna be confident in, you know what, I'm not gonna be feeling the need to chair mechanic just yet and potentially give Kwanli an escape for that dungeon. Just gonna slowly try to burn out the survivors here to maybe aim for a first survivor back to the mana.
Yeah, GodJ exhausting the mechanics self-heal was a great job. That means he wants to get that 5 points. He does not want the end game to happen. So now we see that GodJ again going back to that, just going back to Kwanli, because he knows that once he downs the mechanic will be falling down. So now just shifting targets here. He wants to be able to go after this forward. The mechanic again exhausted all the resources here. We see that Kwanli is trying to buy time in this corner house again, away from the cipher that is being that Run is going towards. Now we see that he is shifting back and forth. Again, we've seen this happen time and time again of how the survivors split the attention of this hunter. But again, this is the sculptor we're talking about. He can chisel, utilize the projectiles, utilize those statues to close out the distance. And now it's the name of the game for GodJ is patience. Run is gonna go for the window hop there. We are seeing that GodJ trying to close in because he knows that once Run is down, she will not be going back up.
Yes, and there you have it. Run is down. A lot riding in on Kwanli, in which case I think it's practically a non-factor. The possibility of BL working towards getting these ciphers. The biggest thing that Kwanli might have to try to pull off here is to, as I was about to say, try to buy time to go for that dungeon if the mechanic could expire. But there you have it. GodJ just...
Yeah. I'm looking at this lineup and I'm wondering who would be the most optimal chase. Like you said, there's no decoder in here, but there's like two rescuers, 2 supports. My guess would be it's going to be a headache to chase either the priestess or the entomologist, but he's already making his way to Capcun. So Capcun transitioning away from that area. It is now the Gravekeeper that has the attention inside the shack, but now we see Capcun utilizing the bees to just try to gain salvation here into the church. Now we see that the portals have already been placed. This is what's so scary about the priestess, and still making his rounds is Capcun in this church.
So far from what we're seeing here, Dark actually gonna just portal after portal that we're seeing here. Good amount of time that little boy could be buying out here so far, just playing around this structure. And there you go. Gonna try to land some. The
support is coming. They're tag teaming. They're able to use the bees to just buy enough time for him to vault that window. And now we see Little Boy making the rounds. Entomologist is also in this area. Little Boy pressing the portal. Excellent stuff. But we see that he is gonna, closing out the distance, but the blink was empty. Little Boy still buying time here. And we see that the Entomologist bees are gonna try to harass. Little Boy had to eat that hit, but look at that, Articuno. Gaining more mileage, breaking the line of sight. Now Dark will have to look for Little Boy in this area and finds it with the chisel.
Yes. Luckily for Little Boy, though, halfway through on damage, so long as he keeps distance and dodges around chip damage, then that's just going to be a lot of time that he could be buying out for the rest of the team. Speaking of the rest of the team, as I said, it's not going to be hardcore quick on decoding, and oh my goodness, so far so good here for Little Boy, just massively keeping Dark preoccupied.
Yeah, and just in an area where no one is decoding. So this is great stuff because this is a pretty strong place to be in. And already utilizing the blink, he doesn't have to worry about that. And the bees, once again, are just allowing Little Boy to transition away further and further away from Dark. But Dark closing out that distance, wanted to try to seek salvation into the hospital, into the church. But you know what? He will go to the graveyard. He does have one portal holy key to utilize. Now we see him try to go through these pallets. Dark trying to measure his mark, gets Little Boy down. Excellent stuff, but look at the Cypher progress. 3 Cyphers remaining, and I'm seeing 2 very healthy, very resource-heavy rescuers that can go for the save.
Yes, and oh gosh, still, the biggest thing here is that just the amount of time it took for Dark to try to take down Little Boy, it allowed GH just enough time to safely get a pop on 2 Cyphers, 2 additionally, which is more than halfway. And look at that, Skyfall just super quick with the rescue. Did suffer a hit, but you know what? It's definitely something you can easily afford. And with that speedy rescue as well, they don't have to worry about Little Boy expiring if ever Dark decides to send it back for a round 2 on that rocket.
Wow. Yeah, you see the entomologist in that area as well, just trying to just give tinnitus and try to just see if he'll go for that chase. It is Little Boy he's going after. He does have one more holy key to utilize to get inside of the church, and now just utilizing the pallets as well for that speed boost. Little Boy again breaking the line of sight. Dark having a pretty tough time downing this one survivor. And speaking of one, Articuno, 1 Cypher remains, and we see that he is going to the red carpet to try and protect that Cypher, but we see Capcun and Skyfall trying to push for it, while the Priestess, the first one on the chair, is not even in this vicinity. Capcun will have to eat that hit, and look at that, chained it with the statue hit. So this is a great break for Dark. Now we'll be cheering Capcun in return.
Yes, making up for lost ground here, but at what cost?
Wow.
Dark still quite not out of the woods just yet, and I think the tricky part right here is because of that one last Cypher. Game plan for GH, make sure that they prep that Cypher already more than halfway from what they have progress. It will be tricky to work on that though. They might need to look towards a different Cypher to work on, but so long as the
Mercenary going for the saves right before the half. Excellent stuff. Skyfall with a backdoor rescue, but Capcun will eat that hit, but he will have the rocket chair on the second time. Gravekeeper is still hanging around this area. We are seeing another Cypher being open, but it is far from complete. I think the accelerated decoding is already happening. And you see that gaining sight where Little Boy is at. The dungeon is also there. Little Boy has been so good at dodging these statues. It's been a headache for Dark to down. Now hits the Priestess, so that's great stuff. Will the Gravekeeper go for the rescue? Hatari is making his way. He's closing out that distance. He's going to have to time this well. Dark can still turn this around. He gets the hit on to the Gravekeeper, and we see that Skyfall again trying to just buy enough time for Capcun because this is his last chair. Atari trying to block, but now we see the last FRP pop, but it is Gravekeeper that ate that hit. Hatari trying to go for the window there, and now Dark changing things up, going with a teleport, has to defend this Cypher, chases away Little Boy.
Yes, now looks like Dark will go towards the commit onto chasing Little Boy. The good thing about this is that this will give all the opportunity for both Skyfall as well as Hatari to heal up But then again, good call on Dark as well by going for Little Boy, not only going for an initial target, but also try to dry out GH a bit in resources. There goes the portal. Little Boy proving to be a very slippery one, but Dark definitely not going to get the turret. Slowly closing in right there. Out drop, not going to quite come in. Little Boy didn't quite decide, didn't quite need it there. But man, again, more time being bought out. And take note, Skyfall and Tari, they're back right up.
Holy smokes, Little Boy is buying so much time. I want to see the data on this because, again, in this area alone has bought so much time. We are seeing that the survivors have been healed up. Little Boy, again, buying enough time here. Does not have a Holy Key ready, but still trying to utilize the structures around. Vaulting, again, just by the nick of time, just avoiding the melee hit. He is so close to falling down. Drops the pallet. Needs him to break that pallet for him to transition. We do see that the Cypher is already primed. Mercenary just waiting for a signal. They go for the pop, and Little Boy still on hot pursuit here. But now, Dark choosing to change target. It is Capcoon in the area. Let's see if he will try to down Capcoon, if he'll have any luck. But now we see Capcoon again. He's such a slippery target with any survivor that he has. Hatari now will have to avoid these statues before trying to open that red carpet exit.
Oh my goodness, and GH looking super healthy across the board. Teleport will come in, though. Dark want to try to deny GH from getting that easy escape out of the gate. But still, this will just mean that Skyfall will gladly try to keep this Hunter preoccupied while the rest of GH work on that other side. Now, Skyfall has to be a bit careful, though. Definitely wants to still try to continue to keep Dark at a distance, and still good circumstances that he's working with. If Skyfall is able to occupy Dark enough,
he's able to go around, and now you see that the Gravekeeper trying to escort him. The gate is already open. Skyfall has to be very careful. The Gravekeeper ate a hit. It looks like it might actually be a 4-person escape. Skyfall can tank a hit here, and now we see 2 survivors out the red carpet. Priestess and Entomologist is also out. Survivors win. 4-man out for
healthy. But I think you raised a really good point earlier, Potch. Normally you'd think that a lot of the structure in Red Church could cause problems for survivors, but given the kit of Soul Weaver could easily become an asset. But you know what, folks? Let's go ahead and find out. Did God J make the perfect call to bring the once queen of identityV to the field? We'll find out second half of the second round, folks. A lot on the line. BL needs to have all 4 survivors out of the gate. Can they do it? Let's head on in.
Yeah, we see that, you know what, the pressure's already starting on because Postman already gave a letter to the Mercenary. So the Mercenary having a 20% speed boost for 30 seconds is actually huge. Now, Gaje, you know, the Tinnitus is popping out. We do see that he is trying to look for a target here. But again, you know what, Soul Weaver has to work for his chases here. He does not have like that, those statues. He does have that slowdown web for him to be able to, yeah, just catch up to the target, and also going for those, you know, those web placements for him to get a faster speed boost. We do see that Shadow is already at the inside the church, and we see that he's not gonna go chase after someone that's inside the church. He wants to keep it at even playing ground here. See, look at that, already utilizing the webs to just close out the distance, and it is Run. This is actually the best possible target. Oh, the blink! Wow, what an excellent call out for Garjay.
Yes, and it looks like Run, in which case, gonna try to make a mad dash all the way into the church. Definitely wants to put things into a position where he could try to buy enough time for the team and kite around. But look at this. God J is actually gonna switch around and find that the chase will lean towards Shadow this time around. The question is, will God J bite, especially upon seeing who he is chasing, as he actually finally gets the visual that it is Shadow.
Yeah, he knew it was Shadow. He's changing targets now, which is quite the interesting choice because he's already put so much investment in Postman, and one more hit he will be falling down. And also chasing in the structure with a Priestess that still has 2 portals left is quite daring. But you know what? The basement is here, but Shadow realizing, all right, I got to use these holy keys. I don't want to try out my luck now. 4 ciphers remain. God J trying to find 1 target. That's the win condition for him. So now 3 ciphers remain. The dungeon just spawned up already here between the red carpet and the graveyard. God J now closing out the distance, but Shadow able to utilize the holy key. Still dropping the pallet. We're seeing, yeah, max pallet break, and Shadow again eating that hit. God J has his first skill. Now almost gaining that presence. Slowing down the Priestess. and we're seeing him rotate around. Quan Lee is there for that support, utilizing the webs to get that speed boost. Priestess once again utilizing the holy keys, but then the speed of Godj downs Shadow.
Oh man, just like that, Godj gonna gladly bring his first target to the rocket chair. Not really much of a distance needed to be traveled, but look at this. MX already in position to go for a rescue. BL very fast on the response, knowing very well that he can't afford to lose out on any of these survivors. Now, big question is, can MX go for the rescue in time? Nice! Hold right there onto Godj, and will easily get into the transition for a rescue. As Shadow is back up, but the last effort will pop.
Yeah, we are seeing that Batter will try and eat all these webs just so he doesn't get that speed boost. Priestess out of the graveyard area. Last effort was popped by that Batter, and you see that the Batter is still trying to harass, even though that he will be falling down soon. Priestess is the main target here, but it seems like the Priestess already breaking that line of sight. Godj has to go for this Batter. One Cypher remaining. Again, win condition is clear for Godj. He just needs one. But again, you know what, BL, they're fighting till the very end here. They want to get the 4-man out. This is the first time MX is on that rocket chair, and we still have another rescuer up on deck in the name of Quan Lee. He is very healthy, and he also has 3 elbow pads to utilize. 2 Cyphers are past the 30% mark, so let's see if they can time this rescue for the side of BL.
There goes a hit coming in, connecting onto Quan Lee, and Quan Lee just making a mad dash out there. Last effort will pop in once again, so that Batter want to try to establish as much distance as possible. It looks like MX will try to transition over to a different area just to give Godj a little bit of that walk before he could bring this Batter to a rocket chair. Also trying to buy out some time. Looking at the progress on these ciphers though, 68% is the most that BL has made out of this so far. And wow, is Godj going to go all the way?
He's going to go for a basement, and this is what's scary, or, yeah, he will, but then the struggle speed of MX, can he struggle in time? Oh god, it's going to be close, but now we see that Godj, second time chairing MX, so again, this is a big statement made by him. The Cypher is almost primed, and this is going to be quite the tough rescue because he is going to stack up these the speed boosts of these webs, and it's going to be so hard, but we see that the Gravekeeper, the Postman is already there, and now we see that the Cypher is primed. The drop hit will have to matter now. We see that they are trying to heal up. Godj, again, pushing for this end game is BL. Can they time this pop right? MX eating a lot of these webs, and now we see Godj just being very careful. He's the one that he has the high ground. You cannot contest that. That's why they are not trying to go for anything big here. Now just trying to hide behind the structures of basement. They have to play this one right, Articuno.
Yes, they do, and look at that. Both of them just playing around this corridor, playing Ring Around the Rosie with Godj around the structure. Godj looking to try to go for it. MX, but timing on that bat though. Still, BL not going to make the call just yet to pop that Cypher. They're really paying patience here. Maybe waiting to see is that down first.
Picks
But
him up.
wait a minute.
Oh my god! Wow, what a call there by Godj. And now he's just going to go to the closest rocket chair. Did you see that time of that hit? And it was so close, and Godj was ready for the pickup. And just like that, one survivor, that's the win condition, but Godj still out for blood here. BL wants to be able to get as much survivors out as possible, but man, yeah, Godj again. What a beast when it comes to this character. He just wanted one, he got one, chases out the... Whoa! He was able to blink hit! Oh my god! He's gonna get 2 survivors!
You know what? Not gonna content himself with one. Let's make that victory extra juicy by going for 2, but... Man, oh man, I cannot get over. Imagine that, just within a split second now. Okay,
and imagine,
let's go ahead and...
this is the mercenary we're talking about. Tanking those hits, GH, Godj,